It's time to play a little buy or sell NFL style heading into training camps, which get going for some teams this week, but for most teams next week. Welcome into Verts. My name is Harrison Graham. I got 5 questions and 5 storylines heading into training camp and heading into this season that I'll either buy or sell. So let's go ahead and dive on in here. Number 1, and a lot of these are, takes you've seen out there, storylines out there. Is this the year the Chiefs finally take a step back? And I think a step back would be that they don't at least get to a Super Bowl, but hey, maybe they lose even earlier in the playoffs or don't win the AFC West. I've seen that take out there. Is this year they give up their AFC throne? I'm selling this. I understand where people are coming from. That Super Bowl was pretty alarming in terms of they were just beat in every fashion of the game. It kind of felt like at times last year the Chiefs actually overachieved with how many close wins they were able to have. But until proven otherwise, it's kind of difficult to bet against what they got going. They still have Andy Reid. They still have Patrick Mahomes. They still have Steve Spagnuolo. And since Mahomes has been the starting quarterback in Kansas City, their earliest exit is an overtime loss in the AFC Championship game. So even when they haven't made the Super Bowl, it's not like they've lost that throne. They didn't get to the top of the mountain out of the AFC twice in 7 years, but both years they didn't. They easily could have. So I'm not ready to go there. I know there's some O-line question marks. I've heard some good things about Josh Simmons. If he's ready to go, could he win that left tackle job as a rookie? You still have Chris Jones. Is this a dominant Chiefs team? No, but it hasn't been the last couple years, and they've still won 13, 14, 15 games and been in the Super Bowl 1, 2, and then lost this past one. So I'm still a believer in what this Chiefs team has going on. Xavier Worthy should take a step forward. They get Rashee Rice back. He'll probably get suspended, but he'll be in the fold. So I still think they are the team to beat in the AFC until someone proves that they aren't. Okay, number 2. Am I buying or selling this Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson pairing in Chicago? Because there's a lot of hype and there's a lot of excitement among Bears fans that believe that finally the Bears may have this aligned, that the young, hotshot, offensive-minded head coach with the young, talented quarterback come together and build something sustainable in Chicago, because it hasn't worked time and time again in the Windy City. I'm going to buy here. Obviously, you guys know I host our Bears channel here at Chat Sports, so, I obviously want this to happen, but I also do think there is a lot of reason to believe it's going to happen. Caleb Williams is very talented. Ben Johnson is a pretty proven offensive mind at this point in time. There is a ton of talent on the offensive side of the ball in Chicago. This should work, and if it doesn't, that's probably on Caleb Williams, would be my guess, that maybe he's just not good enough, but I'm not punting on that talent or anywhere close to doing that at this point in time. You just think about the additions that they have made. Not even the current talent they had on offense, the additions. Ben Johnson and his staff come in. You get in Eric Bieniemy, Antoine Randall, a couple of guys well-respected, and some of the best position coaches at their various positions. Dennis Allen on defense should help. Just from an offensive standpoint, though, Luther Burden III, Colston Loveland, 2 draft picks with a lot of talent. Question marks there. They're rookies. Both missed springtime, but you add them into the fold. Joe Thuney, 4-time All-Pro, 4-time Super Bowl champion. Jonah Jackson has played under Ben Johnson before. Drew Dolman, good center. Ozzie Trapillo, can bring him in to compete for left tackle. Kyle Monunga is going to be in the mix at running back. They join the nucleus that was already there, which includes Caleb Williams, which includes DeAndre Swift, who should play better in this system. DJ Moore and Rome Odunze has a chance to be one of the better wide receiver pairings in the NFL. Cole Kmet, a really solid tight end. Darnell Wright, an ascending right tackle. You still have Braxton Jones in the mix at left tackle. There is a lot of talent, and now, in theory, you've got the right coach to put the chess pieces on the right spots on the chessboard. So I'm a believer in Ben Johnson. I thought 2 years ago he was ready to be a head coach, went back to Detroit for one more year to kind of sharpen those skills even further. The reports out of Chicago have been great in terms of not only is he a smart guy, but he's a demanding coach as well, which is something the Bears need, especially coming off of last year. I'm buying what the Bears are doing on the offensive side of the ball, which historically we have not been able to say that. Are you buying or selling this Bears offense? Type B for buy, S for sell. Could take some time. I'm not saying they're going to hit the ground running week one, but I think there's a real chance this works. Okay, number 3. Are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a Super Bowl contender? I think, and we'll look at the NFC here, that there's a real opportunity for Tampa to come out of the NFC. Number 1, they weren't that far off last year. At times, they had the most complete offense in the NFL. You know, Baker's a little turnover prone, but he had a big year. By the middle and latter part of the season, their ability to run the ball with Bucky Irving and company was fantastic. They have 4 fantastic receivers. Their offensive line is awesome. Tristan Wirfs is going to miss a few games to start the year, but shouldn't miss a ton of time. And I think the big difference this year, assuming their new OC, Baker keeps it rolling, 3rd year in a row with the new OC. You don't love that, but the last 2 years he's been fine, and he's gotten even better. The defense should be a lot better. They had a ton of injuries last year. Todd Bowles is a proven defensive coach. And last year, if they don't have the missed handoff exchange against the Commanders in the wild card round, they almost certainly win that game against Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. Who's to say Tampa wouldn't have gone in Detroit and beaten them just like Washington then? That Detroit defense was decimated. They absolutely could have won that game, and then all of a sudden you're in an NFC Championship game. So I think this team has a lot of raw talent. And you think about the playoff teams from last year. Do any of them have just no concerns whatsoever? Detroit, they lost 8 coaches, including both their coordinators. That's a lot to make up. The Eagles lost Kellen Moore. The year before, when they had a different offensive coordinator, didn't go that well. They also lost a lot of talent and have one of the toughest schedules in the NFL. The Rams, I really like what they got going on, but Stafford's getting older at quarterback. They're still pretty young on defense. That secondary has questions. You got Tampa, who we've talked about. Minnesota, J.J. McCarthy, huge question mark. Washington, kind of feels like they overachieved last year. Can they take another step this year? That's a tall task. Green Bay's got question marks. Is Jordan Love good enough to make a deep run? Obviously, you got teams like Seattle and a few others as well. I think this conference is wide open. I don't think there's a clear hierarchy, whereas in the AFC, it's the Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens. Everybody else is trying to catch up. That's kind of what it is. NFC, you could make the case for 5, 6, 7 teams of why that team could represent in the Super Bowl, and Tampa's as talented as any of them. If Baker continues to play like he has and maybe cuts down on the turnovers just a little bit, their ability to run the football now, the defense should be better. Easy division, which helps. That could stack wins and maybe get a top 3 seed in the NFC, get some home field. I think Tampa's got a real shot to make a run this year. Subscribe to the channel if you want more NFL content for free. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button. Takes 1 second. Just there you go. You're subscribed. Appreciate it. Okay, number 4, are the Bengals taking the AFC North from the Baltimore Ravens? This has been a trendy pick. I've seen this out there a lot. I'm kind of on the opposite end. I am selling this. I think there's way too much going on in Cincinnati right now. And that's already on top of just not having that good of a defense. Like, even if Trey Hendrickson's situation gets resolved, even if Shamar Stewart's situation gets resolved and they both play this year, and let's say Trey is like he has been the last couple of years, dominant pass rusher, Shamar is at least solid as a rookie, that defense still has holes everywhere. Like, cool, you were able to keep T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Those aren't actual improvements, though. You just kept guys that you already had. There is so much pressure on Joe Burrow to play like the MVP every week just for them to have a chance to win these games. Now, is the new defensive coordinator coming in from Notre Dame, is he going to make that big of a difference? Maybe he will. I thought Lou Anarumo was pretty good. When did that defense start to fall off? When the Bengals got cheap and stopped paying their good defensive players like Jesse Bates a couple of years ago. So I'm just not there with the Bengals. There's way less distractions going on in Baltimore. I think Baltimore simply just has a better team and roster. They're better run. They're better coached. Even if you're a Joe Burrow over Lamar Jackson guy, which I think you could, they're in the same tier to me. They're 2 of the best 4 in the world. Even if you want to give the edge to Burrow, I think the Ravens have so many more edges that it's too much to overcome for Cincinnati right now. And then sticking in the AFC North, we'll wrap it up with this. Is Shedeur Sanders going to be QB1 in Cleveland? Will he be the starting quarterback? I'm going to go soft buy. I don't think he'll start week 1. I think it's a huge uphill battle just in terms of moving up in the reps pecking order. He was working mostly with the 2s and 3s in the offseason program. They gave Kenny Pickett a lot of reps at the 1s. The reps Joe Flacco did get were with the 1s. Dylan Gabriel got a few with the 1s. But it did sound like that Shedeur was the most consistent quarterback in OTAs and minicamp. Now, a little setback with the whole speeding incident. You don't love that. But I think at some point this year, there's a chance he'll start. I expect Flacco to be the starter week 1. I just don't think you're going to see any of these other guys just take the job in training camp, which means I think they'll just defer to Joe Flacco. They kind of know what they have with him. Certainly not elite anymore or anything like that, but knows the offense, knows where to go with the football, just kind of can hold down the fort. But they're going to lose a lot of games. And when losses start to stack up, you're going to hear a lot of noise from the fan base. Shedeur. The owner is going to want to see Shedeur. There's going to be more Shedeur Sanders jerseys in the crowd than any other player in all likelihood. And I think at some point he will get an opportunity to play, and then it's just up to him to see what he can do with it. But I'm soft buying. I think he starts at some point. I would guess in November he'll get an opportunity, and he's just got to be ready for it when he gets that chance. Will Shedeur Sanders start a game this season? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I believe he will. I think the Browns are going to stink, and eventually Kevin Stefanski is going to give him an opportunity. That's going to do it for this edition of For Verts. Hopefully everybody's been having a fantastic weekend. We will be back soon with another video, so we'll see you then.